Looking for a way to make a statement without saying a word? Shop I Am All Things Clothier, the brand that lets your wardrobe do the talking. Our shirts aren't just clothing, they're bold declarations of who you are and where you're going. Whether you're crushing your goals, embracing self love, or simply looking to inspire, our designs keep you focused and stylish. So why just wear a shirt when you can wear your mindset? Visit IamEX313.com and choose the shirt that speaks to your journey today because you're more than just one thing. You're everything that you speak.
And we live. Happy Wednesday and welcome to another Everybody Can't Go Convo. I am your host, Jessi Holley, and we are jumping right back into it today. After a 2-week break, I know you guys have probably been like, oh my goodness, where's Jessi? Where's the episodes? Okay, I've been out and about doing all the things, meeting all the people, doing all the work, but I have some amazing things in store for you guys over the next coming weeks. We got a lot of things moving and shaking. So today, it's the 22nd, right? So I've given you the first 21 days of the year for you to go ahead and establish that new habit, whatever New Year's resolutions that you set for yourself. How are you doing? Let's go ahead and check in on those things. And that's if you've said it. If you haven't, and if you have chosen to free yourself from doing all of those things or making a resolution or deciding to go to the gym on January 2nd, because don't nobody go in there on January 1st. But shout out to those of you who did. Shout out to y'all. But if you chose to not do it, that is quite all right. And this pod is still for you too. So today, I wanted to talk to you guys about writing the vision. And when I say writing the vision, I mean writing the vision that you have for your life. The reason why that's important is because it ends up serving as your roadmap. When you do it correctly and you spend enough time actually building out your vision and writing out your vision, don't type it, write it, make it plain. It helps to give you a roadmap of sorts for how to make decisions, where you're going in life. It shows you some direction and you'll have something to look to so that you can reflect back on or meditate on, concentrate on, so that you don't just see something shiny and it's like, oh, wait, where you going? Reel it back in, come back on over here so that we can do things that are in alignment with what it is that we are actually on our way to accomplishing, achieving. Make sure that the things that you're executing on, that you aren't just executing on a bunch of stuff, and it's all good stuff, but is all of that good stuff that you're executing on, is it building on one another? Are those building blocks building on one another? Once you have a strong foundation established, are you building up, or do you just got little scattered piles of bricks, some over there, you mixing up some cement over there, and you got some siding just laying on the ground because you saw it was on sale and it's laying, over on the side, and you don't even need that yet. Sometimes we do the same thing in our lives. We see all of these things, we do all of these great things, but they don't necessarily meld together into a cohesive plan, into a developed strategy for accomplishing our large goals, getting to our highest levels of achievement. So, the first thing that I have for you guys today, I'm going to give you 5 things, is making sure that you know that it takes more than just going to one vision board party. It takes more than just going to one vision writing session, more than one vision writing workshop. When you are writing out your vision, um, and to the degree that I'm speaking of, it takes days. It takes some time. Like, you're going to be writing and writing and writing and writing. Not just, okay, well, these are my 5 goals. That SMART goals list for what you want to achieve, that's something totally separate. That SMART goals list, that's going to come after you actually release and write down what exactly would you like for your life to look like, aside from what anybody else tell you you should have or shouldn't have. outside of what they say, and we still haven't established who they is, but they always got something to say. And when you really think about, like, okay, if there were no outside opinions, if I wasn't dealing with the realities of what our current situation is, or that I don't have this, I don't have that, I wasn't born into, forget all of that. If none of those outside things were a factor, and you really like dig deep into what would you specifically like for your life? Don't worry about any of the tangibles, the intangibles, any of the people, opinions, anything surrounding you. Literally just you in your heart of hearts. What is that thing that you would want your to write down, that thing that you would like for your life to look like? That it's 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 just in your head, in your heart. You may not have even shared it out loud, because that thing is something that to you is so awesome. You know that somebody gonna call you crazy, or they gonna talk about you for saying that that's your vision. Write that thing down. Write down what you would like for it to look like. What would you like for your family to look like? It's okay if it's a family of one in a beautiful, like 50th floor penthouse with 360 panoramic views and all glass windows. Whatever it is for your life that you would like for it to look like. Do you want to travel multiple times a year? What is traveling to you? Because I mean, you could be traveling to Gary, Indiana. Shout out to Gary, not hating, but still, like, what we doing there other than visiting cousins and them? My cousins ain't even in Gary, but still, like, for some people that could be traveling, or to me, visiting my cousins and them, that's not vacation, that's not traveling. I'm just going. Okay, same way you go around the corner to visit your boys and them, your homegirl, or your mama and them. Okay, they just live in a different state. So instead of going around the corner, we gonna go across the country, or we gonna go a couple states over. So, like, for me, and that's for me personally, that's not a vacation. That's going to visit. The same way that I would go visit the family members that stay in the same city as me. So, like, write those things down. What does traveling look like for you? Do you even want to travel? If you don't like flying, it might not mean a darn thing to you about traveling anywhere. But what are those things that you would like to do with your life? What would you like for it to look like? Do you want a farm? Would you like to have a ranch and just live off the fat of the land and be at peace, smelling the wheat on the air in a non-polluted rural area? Whatever that vision is for what you would like your perfect day to be like, what you would like your family to look like, the things that you would like to do, write all of those things down. And the reason why I say that it's going to take more than one session, when you do all of that in one session, you sit there for an hour or two or 30 minutes, whatever, and you write down all of these little things. It's kind of like you'll just make a quick checklist and you're going to fold it up, put it to the side. You're not going to think about it again. Like, I want you to actually meditate on, in your deepest heart of hearts, like, what would you like to feel? Why are you writing these things down? When you're writing them down, what emotion is attached to the tangibles that you're writing down? Because you aren't just writing down these things that you'd like to get, these places that you'd like to go. There's an emotion attached to every single thing that you will write down. Write that down as well. What would you like to feel when you accomplish that? What would you like to feel when you get there? What would you like to feel in that home environment that is your dream home environment? Would you like to feel at peace? Would you like to have the party house? Would you like to have the place where all of the family gatherings are? What are all of those secondary and tertiary things that are a part of this vision for why you wrote that initial list down? So it's going to take more than that one session. You may even break it down and do a day where you're just talking about what you want your home to look like. Doing another day where you're just talking about what you want other aspects of your life to look like. Another day for just what you would like for the family that you come from, or the family that comes from you, what you would like that to look like. And so, once your vision is developed, make sure that you're making time to pencil in those details, those small details, because that helps to bring more vibrancy to it. And also, when we asking for something, when you're writing it and you're making it plain, be real specific. Because if you just say, I want a big house, a big what kind of house? Because it could be dilapidated, but a big house is a big house. Like, do you want a big empty house, a big lonely house? I know you've not seen The Great Gatsby. So let's be specific when we're writing down those things that we want. That was your number two. So, making sure that you're prepared for more than one writing session is number one. Number two, make sure that you are making time to pencil in those details. Be as detailed as you possibly can so that you are able to wrap your mind around exactly what you want, and also so that you can articulate it. This will be important later when it's time to actually put foot to pavement and put some of these things into action in real life. And it's coming out of that book, off of that page, and you're actually moving around out here using this as the basis for your roadmap and how you're going to be moving about the world. And make sure that you take some time to meditate on, what do you truly want to accomplish? What accomplishments would you like to achieve? Again, look at those details. Why do you want to achieve these accomplishments? Think about those feelings. Is it a feeling of achievement, a feeling of fulfilling a not a prophecy, fulfilling your destiny? That's the word I'm looking for. Is it that you feel like you're fulfilling your destiny, or that you are fulfilling something in your family lineage that either needed to be cut off, or something that needed to be started, something that needed to be redone and improved, a tradition that you'd like to take the mantle on that, or you'd like to further develop it for yourself and future generations of your family. And then once you've taken all that time doing those three things, and you've taken however many days it takes. When the first time that I did an exercise on writing my vision, I literally wrote for 4 to 6 weeks. And I wrote and wrote and wrote at this thing every day. Now, does that mean that I came out with a whole dissertation? Absolutely not. Part of that time was me really taking the time to sit there and think about, what are these details that I'm going to actually write down. Altogether, I may have ended up with, I think it was like 4 or 5 pages. So it doesn't end up being a lot of pages, but there is a considerable amount of time that you will spend doing this when you really are allotting yourself the time to sit and think about what you're thinking about, and getting into the why behind each thing that you want to put down. And that will help you with figuring out your how a little bit later. So once you've done all those things, this is where the mindset shift comes in if you haven't already had it. So you need to prepare yourself, prepare your head, prepare your heart, sometimes even prepare your physical space. Go back a few episodes if you need to talk about that decluttering and cleaning, and be prepared for change. All of these things that you wrote down, obviously you ain't there. Because if you was already there, it wouldn't be a vision. It wouldn't be where you're going. You wouldn't need the roadmap. So, since that's the case, you do need to be prepared for change. And it can be in any aspect of your life when you're preparing your mind and heart so that you're able, and sometimes your hands, because sometimes we just holding on to some things that we need to let go of so that we're able to receive blessings, people, resources to help to get us to that next level so that we're able to achieve that dream and vision that we have. So, a couple episodes ago, we did talk about being prepared to receive, and this is a part of it. You see how these concepts are building on one another. Once you've written down this vision, you're not just going to write it, leave it in a book, and just hope that it magically manifests. Once you are finished and you have this thing written down, it's time for you to get to work. And what do I mean by you getting to work? This doesn't mean that you have to go out and do some huge overhaul. This just means that if you can make a change or take a step, whether it be something small, or if you'd like to do a big total overhaul, if you're in that season, Either way is okay. But the point is getting to moving forward, getting to that forward movement so that you're moving toward that vision that you've written down. And as you are making your steps, writing out those SMART goals so that you can work your way toward achieving that vision, make sure that you are prepared to embrace the pivot. Embrace the pivot. And y'all remember, I tell you all the time, I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to me because whoosh, ow. Okay? Embracing the pivot. Y'all know that I'm always happy, butterflies, glitter, anything pink. But that doesn't mean that everything is always pink roses. Would it be? I would love it if it was. If everything was just a bed of flowers with no thorns. And that's why I said that everything isn't just a bed of pink roses. Because roses do have thorns. Now I know you can, get them already dethorned and nice and pretty, long stem, blah, 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 whatever. But in their natural state, those roses do have thorns on them. For you to partake in the beauty, in that sweet fragrance, in getting enjoyment out of those flowers, there's some little prickly parts on there. And sometimes if you're not paying attention, them little prickly parts, they can make you bleed. Sometimes you will get stuck hard enough that not only do you bleed right then, but you still, your fingertips or that part of your hand that you stabbed is still throbbing the next day or the next couple of days. And it can hurt. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like the deepest wound ever, but there is some discomfort associated with those thorns. That's exactly why they're there, to protect the pretty part. And for me, it gives me more of an appreciation for how beautiful the buds are, how beautiful the flowers are. Anything worth having, you're going to have some type of uphill battle. There's going to be some type of place where you're going to have to make a turn, you're going to have to make a change, do something a little bit different. But that does not mean give up. If you got stabbed with a thorn, you would not just take that dozen roses and be like, F this, and throw it in the trash. You wouldn't. You wouldn't. You would make a pivot and say, let me handle this a different way. Let me try to trim the bottom of these stems a different way. Let me use a different method. Let me put them on a different surface. Let me grab this stem somewhere different. Let me not use my whole hand. Let me be, a little more delicate and just use a few fingers. When you are embarking on the journey to getting to that final vision, getting to that dream that you wrote down so that you're able to live that life, there's no way that it's going to be a straight line, no way that it's going to be a clear path. And also there's no way that you aren't going to have to change up the plans that you had. Now, whether it's you that shook up them plans, God shook up them plans, circumstances shook up them plans, I can guarantee you one thing: your plan is not going to 100% go according to plan. You may have some milestones or some goals that you'll hit where everything goes perfectly and according to plan. But make sure that you don't get so used to that being your norm that when it's time for you to pivot, or when you do have to pivot, that you are not fully prepared to embrace it. So that was your number 4. Be prepared for that change and be prepared to embrace the pivot when needed. And then finally, while you were working on your items for this year, or if you're not working on nothing this year, which that's okay too. But, we love everybody around here. Almost everybody, almost. But while you're working on all of these things, it's helpful, for me at least, to have an accountability partner or accountability group, and make sure that you schedule check-ins. Schedule check-ins with yourself on that monthly progress, weekly progress, sometimes that daily progress, or check in with an accountability partner or group. For some people, checking in once a month, that's good. They can take their marching orders, go execute, and come back. You only need 12 check-ins a year. For some of us, weekly or daily is something that's needed. So, if that is so, make sure that you are checking in with the accountability partner or group that will hold you to the standard that is not only required to actually achieve your goals and vision, so that you can build toward that vision and make that happen, but also someone who understands where you're going, someone who you can that you feel comfortable articulating this vision to, or at bare minimum articulating your smart goal list, so that you are able to have someone who is holding you accountable in a way that is sustainable. Consistency is one of the biggest things that will get you to the place that you want to go, that place that you're aiming for. I mean, we can grind, go hard, and get burnt out. You can do all of those things and too much, or we can make a plan where there is consistency and make sure that you schedule it as self care. Schedule that self care so the consistency can remain a thing for you, and so that you're able to avoid approaching burnout or avoid burnout altogether by taking those breaks, making sure that you have a plan, and also being sure that you're surrounded by the right people. And remember, while you're embarking on this, it's here, it's there. You already know everybody can't go. So, if you are looking for more resources on an accountability group, partners, and or a community where you would like to share your vision, or you're looking for additional ways to grow your vision, go ahead, click that link below in the show notes. We have all of the resources that you need if you are looking to dive a little bit deeper into this, or you're looking to work through writing your vision out. We got the things you need, and we will see you guys next week for another Everybody Can't Go Convo.
Calling all Gen X women writers. Do you have a book inside of you just waiting to be written? It's time to stop sitting on that dream and start smiling at your completed manuscript. Join us for an unforgettable, fully immersive weekend retreat designed to take you from stuck to published. From March 14th through 16th, 2025, at a luxurious retreat home in Orlando, Florida, you'll be guided step by step by best selling authors, experienced publishers, and your writing coach, Melissa T, who's authored 8 books and helped countless writers become bestsellers. This is your chance to unshackle the story that's been living inside of you for months or even years and release your voice to the world. Because when you share your words, you change lives one page at a time. Secure your spot today and get ready to write the book you were born to create. Save your spot now. Click the link below.